What's up, YouTube? It's Stars and Sprites over here. Hope everybody is doing good. Hope everybody's making the best out of life. I'm going to go ahead and rant a little bit, or try to get to the core issue, or the core root of the problem. I think is a pretty big problem plaguing much of the gaming industry, and I felt like I had to make a video on this because I cannot find anybody making a video on this, like, which is why are video games boring. And I feel like a lot of people, they're like beating around the bush. They're not really getting to the core root of the problem. They're just tackling like tackling side issues that are not the core root of the problem. Like a lot of people think like video games are boring because because the game holds your hand. The game holds your hand, so that's the reason why the game is boring. Or people will say like, "Oh, it's because of the microtransactions." It's because of the microtransactions, which is the reason why games are boring. I'm not sure how they came to that conclusion. I don't know how microtransactions can make a game boring. Maybe microtransactions can make a game more frustrating in like the financial sense, but I don't think microtransactions would make a game boring. But and then like I don't know, just people are just not getting to the core root of the problem of why video games are boring. And then they'll talk about what else? They'll say like, "Oh, it's because there's a lack of innovation. There's a lack of innovation, and that's why games are boring. All we get nowadays are battle royale games, or like those like games like Fortnite or something like. So it's like lack of innovation. Oh, indie games are the way to go. Indie games are fun. You guys got to go to indie games. That's where the fun games are at. Like I'm sorry to break it. I'm sorry to break it to everybody, but indie games are not that fun either. I've tried playing indie games. Indie games are not that fun either. I've quit a multitude of indie games because I stopped playing them just simply because they were boring. So I don't think that's the reason why games are boring. Oh, let me go ahead and show some footage of a game that is fun. One of the few rare games that are fun to play. This is the last time I had a great time playing a fun game. I'm just gonna go ahead and show footage of this. I don't know, the creator of this video, NRM Walkthrough HD. Yeah, that's the creator of this video. But just go ahead and show this of gameplay footage of a game that actually is fun to play. Like this is the last. Honestly, this is the last game I played. Like that, I can honestly say I had a fun time playing. This game was fun. I had a blast playing this game. This is the last fun game I played, and that was 10 years ago. The last fun game I played, which was 10 years ago. So there's a serious issue with games. Games are just not fun, and it's not the microtransactions. It's not the lack of innovation. It's not. What else did they say? It's not. It's not because because the game holds your hand, because there's lack of exploration, lack of discovery. Everybody is just beating around the bush. These are not. This is not the core root of the problem. We need to get to the core root of the problem. These are not the problems. All right, and just beating around the bush and just not getting to the core root of the problem. These are just like side. These are just like unfortunate like side problems. These are unfortunate these are like unfortunate what do you call it? These are like unfortunate side effects of like gaming today, but it's not the core root of the problem of why games are boring. uh so I don't so why are games today boring? Why are games today boring? And I think games today are boring because, quite simply, the game is boring because the game is not fun to play. Like, simple as that. Why is the game boring? Because the game is not fun to play. The game is not fun to play. Now, how. Okay, well, it's like, okay, so why is the game not fun to play? See, now that is the question. Now, that is the real question. Why is the game not fun to play? Now that is a question that not even I know the exact answer to. And I'm not going to go around saying that I do know the answer. All I can say is that maybe we can get to the closer to the core root of the problem so we can fix the problem. We can get closer to the core root of the problem. And the core root of the problem, I think, is because the game is not fun to play. Now, I hope that gets us a little bit closer to the fixing the core root of the problem if we can find out what the core root of the problem is. But the main reason why games are boring today is because they are not fun to play. And so what makes a game what makes a game boring? Okay, so it's not fun to play. Okay, we get it. But what does that exactly mean? What does it mean for a game to be boring? Why is a game boring? Why is a game not fun to play? Uh Now I can only just go off of theories. I mean, of why the game is not that fun to play. Let me you know what? Let me show some gameplay footage of a boring game. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh man, everybody's gonna get angry at me. I don't know. Please don't get angry at me. I'm sorry. Final Fantasy VII Remake was a boring freaking game. This game was torture for me to play. It was really hard for me to finish this game because this game was so boring. And then people are like, "Oh, you got to play Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is one of the greatest games of all time." I'm sorry. I played Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't know what all the talk is about. Final Fantasy VII Remake was a boring freaking game to play. So why are games like Final Fantasy VII Remake boring? What makes a boring game? For starters, I think it's the mechanics. I think it's the gameplay mechanics. If it's the system of the game, I think that's what it is. Why are games not fun? Why are games boring to play? It's the system. If the system is boring, the game is boring. If the entire system that the game runs off of is boring, that system makes the game boring. The system that which the game is founded off on will determine whether the game is fun or not. It's the system. Is the system fun or is the system boring? So that's what, at the end of the day, I think that's what it is. Why are video games boring? Because they're not fun to play. Why are they not fun to play? Because the system. It's because of the system. The system that the game runs on. So, I don't know. So what are some examples? Okay, so there is when you play a video game, there is something that you have to do in the game. Like usually the game like tells you like a mission that you have to do or an objective that you got to do. What do you have to do to complete that objective? So, I don't know. In case of a typical video game, you have to get from point A to point B. How do you get from point A to point B? Well, you got to walk over there. Okay, you got to walk over there, but you got to get over there. You got to get from point A to point B, but is getting from point A to point B fun? Is the whole process of getting to point A to point B fun? And that's the system right there. And the system, get from point A to point B. How do you get from point A to point B? Well, you walk over there. Well, how do you walk over there? Well, you just move your joystick, press buttons to get over there. All right. Is that fun? Is it fun? Is it fun getting from point A to point B? All right. And um I don't know. Like, that's what determines a game to be fun. Get from point A to point B. How do I get there? You walk over there. Is walking over there fun? No, walking over there is not fun. Okay, well, you get to walk over there, you can run over there, you can sprint over there. Is that fun? No, it's not fun. It's not fun. Getting from point A to point B is not fun. Walking feels like a chore. Running feels like a chore. Sprinting over there feels like a chore. It's not fun. So right there, you already failed the system. The system failed. The system failed you. Get from point A to point B. Well, how do we get from point A to point B? Well, you can walk over there. Well, walking over there is not fun. Well, the system failed. That right there is the system. The system failed. The game is not fun. And okay, well, we're gonna throw some enemies in there. Maybe we'll throw some enemies in there to make getting from point A to point B more fun. Um, you get to fight some enemies, all right, and you get to activate. You get to choose from a subset menu of actions that you want to do. If you want to punch, or you want to kick, or if you want to use your sword, or if you want to use your gun, you can use a subset of menu of actions that you want to do to fight the enemy. Is it fun? Is fighting the enemy fun? That's not fun either. All right, but you already you already failed. You already failed, and you're trying to put a band-aid on a failed system, because walking from point A to point B is not fun. But you try to band-aid the failed system by putting in enemies. But to try to make the system more fun. But unfortunately, fighting the enemy is not fun either. Fighting the enemy feels like a chore. If it's not fun, it's not an enjoyable experience. Whenever you fight an enemy, it's not fun. It's not a good time. It's like, so you put a failed system on top of a failed system. You have a double fail system, which makes for a boring game. All right? If you're going to be spending the majority of your time in the game going from point A to point B, and you're using a system, a fighting system that's not fun, how is the game fun? Going from point A to point B is not fun. All right? Going and then putting in fighting game mechanics in the game that are not fun either makes the game double boring. So, it's boring on top of boring. And I'm sorry, everybody, but this is basically what Final Fantasy VII Remake was. It was boring on top of boring on top of boring. The fighting was boring. The traversing the areas, moving about in the areas was boring. Like, nothing in the game was enjoyable. It was just like a boring experience, and it was not a good time. The fighting sucked. Everything sucked. I don't know. Like, you would think a guy with a big gigantic sword swinging around and messing everybody up, and big gigantic sword bashing against everybody, and like, you would think it would somehow, like, they would be able to make that fun. A guy with a big giant sword kicking ass. You would think it would be fun, but it's not fun. And that's the whole system. That's the whole system of the game. The fighting, you're constantly fighting. That's the game mechanic that you're constantly using throughout the game. You're using a game mechanic that's boring, and you're forced to constantly use that boring game mechanic throughout the entirety of the game. All right? So it's like, it's not fun. It's boring. So the game was doomed from the start. you put in a boring system that the player has to constantly use throughout the entirety of the game. That it's like it's a boring game, a completely boring game. All right, but then like it's like, but people will be like, but why was it boring? Why was the fighting boring? See that's another powerful question that I don't know the answer to. I don't know why it was boring. Why was the fighting in Final Fantasy boring? I can only come up with theories or speculations. I don't know the exact answer. But what I could say is, why was the fighting in Final Fantasy a game mechanic that you're constantly using throughout the entire game? Why was the fighting boring? I don't know. I don't know why it was boring. I mean, I could. It felt stiff. I don't know. The combat felt stiff. It was just like, it was like, it was like a, it was like a. I don't know. It was just like you only had like three moves that you could choose from. Like Cloud only has like three moves that he can choose from. It's like I don't even remember. It's such a forgettable experience. I don't even. It was such a boring experience. It's like a dull memory in my brain. I don't remember why exactly. I don't know. He like there's one attack where he isn't there like one attack where he like does like a succession of like swinging sword combos or something, and then there's like one where he jumps in the air and then swings his sword down or something, and then there's one where he like jabs with his sword forward, a powerful jab attack with the sword. Like I don't know, it was like he had like three moves, and like I don't know, it was not that satisfying. Using the moves were not that satisfying. It was like I don't know, like it just was not satisfying. Uh if you know the combat felt stiff and like your moves did not do a lot of damage, and like it felt pointless. The combat felt pointless. It was just like you're using all these special moves and like the special moves are not doing that much damage. Like it felt like the combat like it felt like your sword play, the sword fighting, it felt like it had no impact on the enemies. Like you would be like swinging your sword around, bashing the crap out of them with your sword, and like they don't even like flinch when you're like hitting them. Like if like you're like swinging the sword at them, hitting them with the sword, and they're not even like flinching. It's just like they're taking all the hits and they're just sitting there, just taking all the hits, and they're not flinching or anything or reacting to your attacks, and it just felt so stiff. And like I don't know, no reaction from the enemy. It was like it's like you're beating a ragdoll. It's like you're beating up like a ragdoll or something, just a lifeless ragdoll, and it was just like a limp, lifeless ragdoll. And I don't know if like kicking. I don't know how much fun kicking a ragdoll on the ground would be. I don't know how much that would be. How much fun that would be. Like, would anybody have fun just kicking a ragdoll around in real life? I don't know. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, it was like I don't know. I mean, I could only make theories of why the combat was boring, and I don't know, and just not a lot of maybe the animation. I was not a fan of the animation. The animation was really stiff as always. Everything was stiff about Final Fantasy Remake. Like the animations are stiff, the fighting is stiff, the movement is stiff, and it just like maybe if maybe if the game had better animations, maybe if the game had better animations, the game would have been more fun. Maybe if the enemies actually reacted to your hits, the game would have been more fun. I don't know. Why else was the game boring? I mean, like the combat was boring, and like that's the system that you constantly have to use throughout the entirety of the game. And I don't know. It's stiff. It's lifeless. It's pointless. And stiff, lifeless, pointless. That's how the combat felt to me. And your your sword attacks did not do that much damage, and your sword attacks did not have that much of an effect on the enemy. Your sword attacks did not have much of an effect on like the environment around you, and the animations were stiff, and just the fighting is stiff, and not a lot of options to only like three sword attack options to choose from. And like even if you use the one of the three sword options, it's not that satisfying. The sword options are not that satisfying. It's not that satisfying to watch, or it's not that satisfying to use. So it's like, I don't know. And yeah, I don't know. And uh I was gonna say the game is extremely repetitive, but because I mean, maybe if the combat was actually fun, maybe I would have been okay doing the same thing over and over and over again if it was actually fun. So I don't know. So these are my theories. So that's basically it, everybody. That's why are games boring? Because most of the games today fail to create a fun system. I don't know who's working on these games. I don't know who's making these games, but I don't know what's going through their head. I don't know when they're making these games. It's like, oh, like surely when they were like making the game, they would have realized like, man, this is a boring freaking game. We need to switch this around. We need to we need to start from scratch. We need to start over because this game is freaking boring. Like, does it ever cross their like mind when they're making the game that they realize how boring the game is? Like, this game is super boring. We need to start over. We need to start over because this game sucks. Like, does it ever cross their mind? I don't know. Like, I mean, if I'm making the game and I'm like, oh man, and then I'm testing out the game, I'm like, man, this game sucks. We need to, I would realize that. I'm like, man, this game sucks. And then I don't know. And then, all right, we need to do over, guys. We need to do over because this game sucks. This game is boring. We need to start over. So we need some new ideas. We need some better ideas. So it's like I don't know what's going through their head when they're making these games because a lot of these games are ridiculously boring. Like Jesus Christ, like any game that I play, I've played a decent amount of games, a decent amount of new games, and like 90% of them are boring, dude. It's like, oh my god, I don't even know. What are the games that I played? Final Fantasy VII Remake was boring. Um, I'm playing Spyro. I recently started playing Spyro, the Reignited trilogy. Spyro is friggin' boring. Um, I tried playing Kingdom Hearts. That game was friggin' boring. Kingdom Hearts was super boring. Um, there's other games. Fallout 4 was that I was playing Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is actually a pretty decent game. That game is actually pretty fun. Fallout is like the only recent game I've played that's actually pretty fun. Fallout 4 is pretty fun. Um there was another game that I played that was not really a good time that I had to force myself to play. I don't know. I don't remember. Oh, honestly, Tekken, Tekken, keeping it honest here, Tekken is a boring game. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Fighter Z is a boring game, and I don't know, like a lot of these games, are boring, and I force myself to play these boring games. And yeah, and I don't know, like Resident Evil 8 was all right. Resident Evil 4 remake was all right. Those were all right games. Um, I don't know. I don't even know. Resident Evil 4, I might have to give Resident Evil 4 remake like a 5.5 out of 10, because that game was started to get really repetitive towards the end. The combat really started to get repetitive at the end. I might have to give Resident Evil 4 remake like a 5.5 out of 10. Resident Evil 8 was pretty good though. Uh, I don't know, but so I think, I mean, there you have it, everybody. I mean, like what makes a game what makes a game boring? The system. The system is what makes a game boring. If the system is boring, the game is boring. The system that the game runs on is boring, the game is boring. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Like, there's a lot. I don't know who. Most games are boring though. Like 75% of them are boring. Maybe 80%. Most games nowadays are boring. I don't know who's making these games. I don't know who's making them, but they do not know how to make a fun game. They do not know. I don't know if these guys, if the people making these games are gamers. I don't know if the people making these games are gamers, but I don't know if they are, because their games are boring. So I don't know who's making these games. I don't know if they have any idea of what a video game is, or if they play video games, if they have any experience with video games. But a lot of these video games are not fun to play, and it's a chore forcing yourself to play these games. People are like, "Oh, indie games are better. Indie games are more fun." No, they're not. What was it? Braid or something? I remember playing Braid back in the day. That game was boring. Uh, what's that one game that everybody loves so much? Undertale? Ugh, Undertale was boring. Godly, indie games are not that much fun either. Oh, it's about the indie games are fun. No, they're not. They're not fun. They're not fun either. Oh, the games back in the day were fun either. Honestly, the games back in the day were not fun either. I remember playing the games, the older games when I was a kid, and I remember the games felt like a chore. The games felt like a chore to play, and I remember I'm a kid and I'm like stressed out. I remember stressing myself out, forcing myself to play these games that are stressful and that are stressful to play. And I remember just stressing myself out as a kid, forcing myself to play these stressful games. So even back then, we had the same issue. So, but let me talk about a game that did it right. A game that did it right. A game that now I want to play Uncharted 4 again. I want to play this game again because this game is so good. This game is so good. This is the last fun game I played. The last like truly fun game I played. And that was 10 years ago. This game came out 10 years ago. Jesus. So, I don't know. I don't know. So, this game is fun. So, I don't know what the people were doing making Final Fantasy 7. I don't know what they were on when they were making that game. I don't know if they had any idea, if they understood that their game was boring. But what I can say, the people that made Uncharted 4 did a great job. This game is so good. This game is so good. I would give the award to, I don't even know. Maybe Resident Evil 8, I might give that to an honorable mention to. That game was pretty fun. In the beginning, that game was fun, and then towards the end, that game had the same issue too. I don't know. The game was so good in the beginning, and then like towards the end, the game just like the game loses steam towards the end. I don't know. Uh, but this game, Uncharted 4, I can honestly say this is the last game where I'm like I had a damn good time. I had a damn good time playing this game, and I enjoyed playing this game. I can honestly say I thoroughly enjoyed this game. This was such a good game. And now what made this game fun? The system is fun. Look at that. Okay, look at Nathan Drake climbing. The climbing is fun. I enjoyed the climbing. The the system is fun. I enjoy the system. All right? You got to make the system fun. Uncharted 4 had a fun system. You got to get from point A to point B. How do you get from point A to point B? You climb. You climb. And I don't know why. Why did I like climbing so much? Oh yeah, another boring game. Harry Potter Legacy. That was another boring game. All right, it just hit me on the thinking about the traversing. But okay, back to Uncharted. uh, it's like, man, I'm just talking a lot of smack. But okay, let's talk some good now. Let's talk some positive. This is such a good game. The climbing is so fun. I don't know why the climbing is so fun. I just like look how he climbs. Like when he climbs, what I can say is when he climbs, it looks so good. Look at the water pouring on Nathan Drake as he's like trying to climb. It just looks so good. It looks so good, and the thunderstorms and the raining and then him, the way he moves is so smooth. The way he moves is so smooth. He reacts like see how he slips on the wall. He slips on the wall, you know, and you see his arms like going over in and over and in and over, and his arms are twisting and his body is twisting. Like you see his body reacting to the environment. Oh, and then he fell. He fell down, and it's like look, he's falling down, and oh yeah, it's like there's like so much animation going on. There's so much. I think it's like it's such a treat watching this game because there's so much fluidity. It's so smooth, and there's so much animation going on, and if like it looks like Nathan Drake feels like a real person. He looks like a real person. He behaves like a real person, and it was just like I like watching the animations like when he's climbing. I don't know when he climbs the rocks. It's just so good. I don't know. I just like seeing Nathan Drake climb rocks. It's like I mean, part of video games is like a spectacle, right? Watching, right? Seeing, right? And seeing Nathan Drake climbing rocks is so good. Like his body twists and turns and contorts and leaps and bounds, and his arms twisting, his legs twisting, and he's falling and slipping, and and just like it looks so smooth and so fluid, and it's just so good. I just love the climbing in Uncharted 4. Like you could just have me climb in Uncharted 4 all day and I will have a blast. Just have me climb rocks in Uncharted 4 and I will have such a good time climbing rocks in Uncharted 4. The game is so beautiful. Look how beautiful the game is. It's like the shadows, the lighting, and the textures, and Nathan Drake looks like a real person. It's amazing. And then the fighting. The fighting is so good. I like I don't know. It's like the fighting is so good. In Uncharted, you could have me do the same thing over and over in Uncharted 4, and I don't care. I will have a damn good time doing the same thing over and over again because it's just so good. The fighting is so good. Like, I don't know, why is the fighting so good? I don't know. They built such a good system. They built such a good system in Uncharted 4. Getting from point A to point B is so fun. And then to add on top of that, the enemies that you meet along the way are so fun to fight. I love the fighting in Uncharted 4. It's like when you punch some, I don't know why I enjoy the fighting so much. Why do I enjoy the fighting so much? I can only go off theories. The punching, the I don't know. I just punching somebody on Uncharted 4 is so satisfying. You when Nathan Drake punches, he puts all of his body into the punch, and like you can see his body, like the animation is like his body twists, and he leaps, and he gives everything into his punch. He's like hiya, and then he punches with all of his might, and it's just like it's so satisfying to see the animation of him punching somebody. His body twists and turns, his arm bends, and then like you see his whole body moving when he's like doing a punch. It's like so satisfying to watch. It's so smooth, so fluid, and then the enemy reacts to the punch. When you punch somebody in Uncharted, they react to the punch. Like they will grab their face when they get punched. They will grab their face when they get punched. Well, let me check something. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Testing, 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 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay. But when he like when they grab their face when they get punched. They grab their face when they get punched, and then like I don't know, and then like their body flies with the punch, like their body goes with the punch, like their body moves with the punch, and then I don't know, and then you're punching them well, and then like Nathan Drake will drop kick them. He'll freaking just do just a drop kick, and then like their body will fly. He'll do a drop kick, and their body will just like fly out after like he freaking drop kicks them with both his feet, and then their body just goes soaring, and then their body just twists and tumbles and turns like falling down, getting drop kicked. Like it's just so satisfying to punch and kick. It's so satisfying punching and kicking in the game and watching the animations. It's so good. I don't know what's another reason why the combat is so fun in Uncharted. I don't know. I like how you get to like mix and match with your combat. Like I like you can have like an assault rifle in one hand, and then you're charging somebody, shooting at them, you know, like blasting them with your assault rifle, and then to finish them off, you drop kick them to the face. After you like spray them with a bunch of bullets, you drop kick them in the face, and then their body goes flying. Like it's just like I don't know. It's so satisfying, man. It's so satisfying. And then the explosions, the booms, the grenades, the gunfire. It just like it gets like your adrenaline pumping. There's like explosions all around you. There's like so much going on around you. Explosions, gunfire, like people running around. And I don't know. It's just so it pumps you up, you know? So I don't know. The combat they created such a fun system. They create oh this is really satisfying too when you get the dagger, and then when you're climbing, you jab the dagger into the wall when you're climbing. That was really satisfying. I don't know, like everything was so satisfying in the game. It's like you hit the nail on the head when like you're climbing with the dagger, and like you're sticking the dagger in the wall. It's so satisfying. It's like you're hitting a nail in the head. Nail on the head. I don't know, it's satisfying. I don't know. They did such a good job with Uncharted 4, and they did so amazing. And you got to give it to them for making such an amazing game. And I don't know if there will be another amazing game like this ever again, because it's been like 10 years and I still have not found an amazing game like Uncharted. Fallout 4 maybe. Fallout 4 was a decent game. Maybe Fallout 4 might be closest to a decent game that we got. Maybe Resident Evil 8, I don't know, but Uncharted 4 is so good, so good. And I don't know. I really hope someday we get another game like this again. I really wish they would continue making more Uncharted 4 games. See, look at that roll. That roll looks so smooth. When Nathan Drake rolls, it looks so smooth. Look at that. When he does a stealth takedown, it's so smooth and fluid. And like I mean, like other games are clunky and clumsy, but it's like, but like the combat in Uncharted 4 is so responsive and smooth, and it's such a joy playing Uncharted 4. So I mean, these are all of the theories that I can come up with for why. These are all the theories I can come up with for what makes a game fun, what makes a game boring. So I hope everybody enjoyed. I think that's everything I gotta say. Look at that, it's so smooth, it's so smooth. And then there's like a click from the game to let you know that you got them. And then look how oh my god, and then look at that, he's in the air and then he punches them while he's in the air. It's so smooth. When you pick up ammo, it's so smooth. Everything is so smooth and fluid. The game is working with you. The game is not working against you. The game is working with you. Everything is so smooth and fluid. Everything is just working with you, and everything is just doing what they got to do. You know, the game is not trying to fight against you. The game is trying to work with you. It's just very smooth, very good, very fluid. It just rolls. It just rolls. So good. And the animations are so good. The buttons are responsive. The actions are responsive. The input is responsive. It's so good. It's so good. The combat is like nice. The combat is nice and intense, and it's nice and intense, and and it's nice and intense. Gets you pumped up. Look at that. The enemy reacts to you shooting them. The enemy reacts to you shooting them. You shoot them and then their body like flies. Oh, look at that. He punches them and then they fly. Look at that. See? The enemies are reacting to your actions. You don't even get that in Fortnite. Fortnite is honestly like a boring game too. It's like because like when you're shooting enemies in Fortnite, they don't really react to your shooting. Oh my god, look at the explosions. Look at these explosions are so good. I don't know. I think that's everything I gotta say, everybody. But why are games boring? That's why I think games are boring. Most games are boring. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a good one. Bye.